human beings in the mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank. And today, we should be in a good mood today. We really should be in a good mood today. But you know what? Kind of not. But first, let's do something happy. Let's show something happy. Okay. So this showed up in the mail. Actually, what was it? I think 4 days ago. 4, 3, something along those lines. My new Funko, Walt Disney with Dumbo and Timothy. Oh, look at that. Love it. Disney 100. Love it. But anyway, so today our topic is Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War. Alright? Battle lines. Actually, we're going to cover this and the first issue of the new Batman, not new Batman run, but the continuation of this story. And let me tell you, when Chip Zdarsky was announced to be coming onto this book, I thought, okay, great. He's proved himself with stuff like his Daredevil run. His Daredevil run sort of stumbled a bit at the end, but had a lot of really great character, a lot of really great heart to it. And so far, his run, I think, has been interesting. Not groundbreaking, but considering where we were, from Tom King to James Tynion, who I thought would, do a better job, but I don't think he did. Then Joshua Williamson. Was it Joshua Williamson? It was Joshua Williamson. I thought, Zdarsky would be a good fit for this. Maybe he was too early. Some say he's too late. I don't know. Maybe this is more of an endemic thing of what's been created by Tom King. Yes, I'm finding a reason to blame Tom King for something. Yes, I will do that. But, let's just get into this. Alright, so, this takes place after the events of Failsafe, that whole other not Joker thing Zdarsky did, and the whole Night Terror story. So yeah, Batman's exhausted. As a matter of fact, this story takes place after he wakes up from that whole issue with Night Terror. So for those of you that don't know, if you didn't see my Night Terror's video, watch it, don't watch it. It's not really important to the story outside of this. During that event, Batman's body was possessed by Dead Man. And he was trying to take control, and try to get control of his body, but Dead Man wouldn't leave it because that was the only Dead Man could fully operate. So the stress of that kept Batman out. It's not that he got tired, it's that his body couldn't deal with that kind of stress. If you've read Shaman King or watched Shaman King, consider the early days about how long integration can take, how long a total integration can take on the body. So anyway, I think that's the closest scenario we got to it. But anyway, so Bruce is all awake now, but while this is all going on, certain things have been happening in Gotham City, alright? Criminals are getting letters, getting help, getting requests like, hey, stupid henchman, are you tired of being a stupid henchman? Won't contribute to society in any meaningful way? Granted, you're a felon, so it's probably hard for you to contribute in a meaningful way. But, since there's no foundation or any sort of billionaire out there who's willing to help and offer jobs to convicts, join us at this address. Yes. So anyway, Bruce wakes up, or rather, he has a dream, or not. He's met by the Batman of Zur-En-Arr. Zur-En-Arr? Z? I'm calling Batman Z. There we go. So Batman Z is, if you don't know, is this backup personality that Bruce had created in the event that his mind had been under attack. And the whole point of this is to be pure Batman. Alright? We really saw this come into play in Grant Morrison's Batman. It kind of is where he really hit the map as an actual thing. And he's been back here in the events of Failsafe. As a matter of fact, it turns out he was the one that created Failsafe. So here, Batman Z is talking to Bruce like, hey man, how you doing? You doing alright? And Bruce is like, okay, so you're supposed to go away. I shouldn't have created you. And then he sees these lights, these other eyes behind him. And this is more than likely the other iterations of Batman created when Batman was traveling through the multiverse, tracking down a guy who really wanted to be the Joker. Turns out he was a Joker that never was. Like, on that Earth, he could have been the Joker, but the incident never happened, and how he really wanted to become the Joker. So, yeah. Which led to Batman meeting up Adam West Batman, Kevin Conroy, the GOAT, the legend, the MVP Batman, Dark Knight Returns Batman, and they all sort of gave him some stuff, and then he was like then each of them sort of had their own Zur-En-Arr, or Zur-En-Arr took aspects of them, and now they're into subconscious, so who knows. Batman may be insane. Bruce may be the closest he's ever been to being insane. So anyway, he's awake. He's stopping a burglary, but he's noticed that the city seems remotely quiet. As a matter of fact, this burglary was like the only thing he had to do. He goes in, chases them. He knows them, like, hey guys, what are you doing? All right, well, at least you're not working for free. So goes after them. Crime, still crime. They escape, and they send a message to Catwoman, who's like, oh, it's happened. He's awake, and she tells her friends, okay, so Batman's here. He's awake, and what he's going to do is going to put a crap on all this. All right, so everybody, all the rookies, stay in the compound. Do not engage. If you think you can handle him, I can't help you. You might as well just leave now. So she calls a meeting with the Bat family, no masks. And who finds this out? But, well, Tim tells Bruce. Oh, and this is actually really the best part about this whole issue here, is while Robin is chasing down Maxie Zeus, like this Batman villain who thinks he's Zeus. Bless his heart. The man wants to be an adulterous. Can I say that word? Rapist. Well, I did. But anyway, so a really great moment here is when Batman sees Robin and says, hey, I know you didn't need help, but, I figured, come in. And he's like, no, come on. They hug it out, and Batman calls him son. It's a really great moment. He tells, hey, Catwoman's called a meeting, no mask. And my thought this whole time is, who does Catwoman think she is? Calling the entire Bat family down. She's not, like, part of that family. Like, she's family adjacent. It's like if Batwoman called, like, hey, like, look, tell everybody to come down here. No one wears a mask. You don't tell me what to do. Anyway, Batman's like, okay, fine. They go down there. Batman does wear a mask. Everyone else is there. They're all in their little groups. I like that. Well, not really in their groups. Batwoman's sitting alone because she, I don't know why. Batgirl and Nightwing are there together. Duke and Cass are there together because they're waiting for another Outsiders book. And is that Steph and Damian? Yeah. It's weird because realistically, if that Batgirl's book was still a thing, we'd see Babs, Cass, and Steph at a table together. But then you wouldn't know where to put. Then you have Duke sitting by himself, and then you have Kate. Duke and Kate have nothing to say to each other. Nightwing with Damian, well, that would make sense because at one point, Dick and Damian were Batman and Robin, so yeah, that makes sense. But Steph and Damian, they haven't. Oh, sure, whatever. Anyway, Damian's kind of cavalier, like, hey, Dad, so you're back from your nap. I'm like, he was worried sick about his dad, so I don't get that. But anyway. So, Catwoman comes in and says, hey, so, in case you haven't noticed, crime's been down 75%. And that's because I took all the henchmen, all the grunts, the legwork, people who do the actual heavy lifting. I took them and taught them how to steal from rich people. Because rich people are terrible. Alright? And I gave them a code, a rule of ethics, a code of conduct, if you will. Alright? No mark is worth your life. Alright? Or anyone else's life. No confrontations. No nothing. And 50% of whatever you gain goes to the Gotham charity. Alright? So, in other words, she's trying to really pull the Red Hood angle, i.e., control what kind of crime goes through. The difference is, well, actually, this is horribly flawed. Actually, this is a very stupid idea. Let's just stop it. Let's just cut the crap here. All right. So, by default, most people, and this is sort of where the whole thing falls apart. Nightwing is like, this is terrible. You've just changed the type of crime. All right. Like, crime hasn't gone down. Violent crime has gone down, but actual crime is still up. All right. Now we can all argue that, hey, there's a difference between, as Tim points out, the bodega guy who's losing his life savings versus some rich person losing some jewels. All right. And Damien's like, this is stupid. All you've done is train better quality criminals, and when they eventually revert back to crime, they're going to be better equipped to do it. Steph's like, but they won't need to go back to crime because they'll be independent. First of all, they do not have a permanent source of income. They do not have a consistent source of income. So no, they're not independent. They are constantly needing to go and steal. All right, same way that people who have 9-to-5 jobs are not independent in this way. Independent in this essence would mean that I don't have to do things I would like to do to make money. All right. First of all, people work 9-to-5s really don't like working 9-to-5s for the most part. Some people just like having something to do. Some people like being productive. That is fine. But most people would rather not work 9 to 5. They just wouldn't. All right? So that sort of independence isn't there. So, in other words, these people who have no other option are now allowed, or rather, who didn't want to take another option, are now doing better than people who work and contribute to society. But, of course, Batman brings this important thing, too. Crime is crime. All right? It doesn't matter. Like, hey, they're not murdering. They still don't get to steal from people. And so here goes the whole class issue. Like, hey, they're rich people. It's money they haven't even earned and whatnot. And, but Batman points out this personal aspect to him. His parents were rich. All right, so why is it all right to steal from people like his parents? Just because, what? They can, quote-unquote, afford it? Also, jewels, by default, they may have a monetary value, but for most people, they may mean something else. Batman himself, in Wayne Manor, at one point, were his mother's pearls. All right, the last thing he saw his mother wear before she was gunned down in front of him. All right, those pearls are more likely insured. All right, so if lost, he'll get money back. He could probably get some more pearls just like it, but they're not his mother's pearls. All right. Anyway, so Batman's like, so you're asking me to tolerate crime? You seem to not know who I am. Selina fires back. Well, you're just upset that you wasted all your money on Batmobiles and Batarangs and a whole bunch of cool stuff in merchandise and action in the actual world, and never did anything to fix this system. I'm like, this. No. First of all, I can actually point. This broad here, because I'm not going to say the other word. No, I'm saying this bitch right here. This bitch right here was indirectly and technically directly responsible for Batman losing all his money in the first place. All right? Which means stuff like the Wayne Foundation, the ability to hire convicts off the street, giving them a second chance to be productive in society, that's gone now. Because he doesn't have the money. All right? And then she throws it like, hey, you couldn't be married because, it was the mission. You were married to the mission. She left him at the altar. She left. Actually, no. You know what? Let's unpack the whole Tom King scenario with Catwoman. All right. Actually, no, not just Tom King. Tom King going into Tinian, and here we are now. All right. So, Tom King's run. Batman and Catwoman planning to get married. Get hitched, whatnot. Bruce wants to be happy. Thinks Selina's the best choice for that. Mazel tov. There we go. She leaves him at the altar, or just leaves him there, because, he needs to be Batman. He needs the mission, despite the fact that earlier, when she fought Talia al Ghul and somehow beat Talia, whatever, she says, yeah, I understand that mission is important to him, that vow, I'll always come second place to it. But apparently she thinks that he can't be Batman if he's not miserable. I don't get that. Who said that? Holly said it. Turns out Holly was being manipulated, or working for, it's never really specified, by this coalition of Bane and Flashpoint Batman. Because Flashpoint Batman lost his damn mind. But anyway, after Bruce went through hell on earth emotionally, did some stuff he's not proud of, and Tom King tried to ride his way out of that, and he just dropped the ball on that one. They're like, hey, you know what? We don't have to really be married. We'll just be together and good. So then, the events of Joker War happen. Bruce loses all his money because a couple years ago, Selina worked with a guy called the Designer, and what her big plan was to steal Bruce Wayne's money. Alright, then Bruce loses his money because that plan comes to fruition. Selina tries to stop it, bless her heart, but it's too late now. And instead of never telling him, hey, there's this legendary criminal that tried to help me steal your money, and you might want to be aware of that. She decided never tell him about that. So then, after everything's said and done, Joker War, she pretty much just goes off somewhere. So as soon as Bruce is broke, or, not as rich as he could be, which is, for fictional purposes, rich people are just infinitely rich. Alright, but still, when he's lost some money, she's out. They don't do any adventures together. Then, Zdarsky's Batman starts off with Bruce having a really bad nightmare. First person he calls is Selina, his girl, his, wife-ish. And he finds out she's sleeping with some other dude. So now she's like, our marriage fell apart because of you. I'm like, what? We couldn't get married because of the mission. No, we couldn't get married because you left me at the altar. We couldn't get married because as soon as I didn't have the money that you planned to steal from me and never bothered to tell me I should watch out for it when we were an item, copacetic, you decided to leave after that. I don't get this. So how's this my fault? She throws that in his face. Well, guess what? The mission's done. Should we go to the church right now and get married? Batman is like, you know what? I'm out of here. Y'all crazy. I will stop this. And an interesting thing is the family seems divided on this for some reason. I don't quite get why. There's a really great scene in this when, you know, Batman is like, he's not reasoning with people. He's not going to reason with his family on this. Why? Because as Batman points out, everyone in that room is a victim of crime. All right? And I took them all in. I took you all in, trained you to be better, to mold yourself into something that made sure that no one else became a victim of crimes like we were. And what did you decide to do? You decided to be okay with people becoming victims of crimes. I don't want to talk to you people. You're all crazy. You're all crazy. You're all tired. And I get it. I get it. It has to be a nightmare working in Gotham City. It has to be. All right? You got clowns, scarecrows, pigs, rejects from What's My Personality Type, Riddler, Clue Master. No, it's never Clue Master. Harvey. You know, for a city that won't have the death penalty, this is crazy. By the way, I'm pretty sure Batman and Bruce would be okay if Gotham adopted the death penalty. I think he would. The state said it. Yeah, there we go. It's the law. They gotta kill you. All right. I know. I said I can't kill you. You know. There you go. But whatever. So Batman drives off. He's disgusted with all of them. Then he goes to talk to Renee. Then he, in the midst of all this, Jason shows up to Catwoman and says, "Hey, you just got on the inside. I'm gonna help you." And I'm like, Jason of all people. Of all people. I want to point out, Jason's life is not ruined by super criminals, but by the street level crime that would still happen. In other words, the drug trafficking is technically not a violent crime. In other words, the crimes that Selina has stopped would not stop the drug trafficking that led to his mother becoming a junkie, and, you know, all of that. But whatever. So anyway, Bruce sees a bat signal, goes to talk to Renee Montoya, and Renee Montoya wants to point out she's not fond of Batman. And my thought was, when did that happen? I thought these two were cool. They're not BFFs. Like, you know, if, you know, Batman needed help with the GCPD, he wouldn't call Renee Montoya, he'd call Jim Gordon. But since the events of City of Bane, since Tom King's run, Jim Gordon has stepped down as commissioner of the GCPD. And I don't know where this dislike came from. Batman's like, yeah, there's a long list of people that don't seem fond of me right now. And she points out, hey, you know, crime's gone down since you've been away. I'm like, okay. So what I'm hearing is, it takes either vigilantes or another vigilante controlling crime to do your job for you. So 75% of all violent crime is down. By default, that means there should be no crime, because that means the GCPD is free to do its actual job. So my question is, what is the point of the GCPD? But anyway. Whole time, Riddler's watching, doing his thing. Now, a really interesting thing is, during this whole time, we've had one perspective. This criminal here is the one we saw in the first page. He is possibly the one who who Selina thinks she's always helping, who Selina set up to always help. In other words, this is a guy who's down on his luck. He has a daughter to look after. Mother died. He promised he'd always look after her. So he's doing this stealing to provide for his daughter. This is the most one exception to the rule ever. But anyway, he goes to steal some stuff. Turns out people value their property more than they do the people trying to steal it. All right? So she comes in with a gun, and she's very scared. Almost like she's, you know, shouldn't have to be robbed. She goes in, fires, shoots him, he dies. Now, Batman was already thinking, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've gone about this the wrong way. Maybe I'm too close to this. This is something Batman will never tolerate. A dead man. And not just any dead man. A dead father. Meaning his daughter is now an orphan. Alright? So guess what? The mission has been compromised. The mission has been tainted. And Zod and Ark, yeah, I'm never going to say Batman. See, I tried. Is waking up. And to be continued in Batman 137 starting next week. Or right now. Yeah. I tend to do all of this like the week, post the week after. But anyway. So 137 picks up relatively after this. Batman is going scorched earth. Alright? No. He is now going to track down every one of these thieves, beat them down, and say, this is it. Alright? No more. So no more. And this is pretty straightforward, honestly. Selina's finding out that Batman is going all over, arresting beating down her people, stopping them. And even Tim is pointing, hey, what is going on? Like, I think you're going a bit too hard here. There's even a mention of the fact that Batman really hasn't had time to rest since any of this. Since the whole fail-safe, since going to that other world, since Night Terrors, he really hasn't had time to properly, relax. Even he's noticed he's possibly slowing down. But anyway, meanwhile, at the Watchtower, or rather the Clock Tower, everyone's talking about, feel kind of bad about this, feel conflicted. Stevie Brown was like, hey, I just watched someone break into someone's house, and I just didn't do anything. I was complicit in the robbery of someone. And Selina's like, yeah, it's helping, and like Selina asks for help, I'm gonna give her help. I'm like, this is ridiculous. They're all being complicit in theft, all right? But whatever. Meanwhile, it turns out stealing the henchmen from criminals, from super criminals, only makes them all work together. Who'd have thought? Professor Pig, Scarface, Firefly, Black Mask, Scarecrow, that's gotta be that's Calendar Man, Two-Face, and Mad Hatter, all about to work together for something. Congratulations. Also, what else could have happened? What else could have happened is they just outsourced their criminals elsewhere. Alright? Anyway. Catwoman, meanwhile, talks to Jason about trying to find a plan. You're like, let's just distract him while we do the other stuff. Okay? So, they got a plan going on, all set. Turns out, Batman's ready, and he fights Jason. And the question is, in Batman's mind, is it alright if people die? Alright? Because that's Batman's whole MO. No one is allowed to die, even the criminals. Alright? And he points out, if that's alright, then shouldn't I just kill you, Jason? Alright? You've killed people. Shouldn't I kill you then? Wouldn't that be easier? And apparently that's the line for everybody during this fight. The rest of the Bat family gets involved, and Batman's like, you all don't know who you're dealing with. Alright? So Batman gives them all the business. It's kind of hilarious. And as soon as they get the ground, Damien comes in with a punch and like, you know what? Y'all all crazy. Alright, I never thought I'd say this in a good number of years, but I'm with Dad on this one. Yeah, those two have had a rocky relationship for some reason. So anyway, they go off, and everything seems kind of alright, but they all know that whatever is going on, battle lines have been drawn, and we can't go back. As Selina's able to free her people before they're sent off to Blackgate, she throws her phone in disgust and anger. Nightwing and company realize, you know what? He's gone. We've lost Batman. And to me, it's also ridiculous. Meanwhile, Bruce and Damon are hanging out, like father and son in the old brownstone. I'm like, okay. And they're met by a member from the bank. And like, hey, so for you to keep your brownstone, you put Wayne Manor up as collateral. And someone bought Wayne Manor. So, yeah, you don't have a home. And they go off. So Batman, meanwhile, is going like, who bought it? It was Selina, wasn't it? It was my bitch of an ex. It's pretty much how this is going. And Zernar's like, yeah, might have been her. Probably. And he's like, well, I gotta clear some stuff out of here. Wipe the files, make sure they can get back to me. And, seal off the cave. Zernar is trying to get like others like, you know how to do this? He's like, yeah, tired, ain't got time to deal with you. Sealed away. And then we found out the person who bought Wayne Manor was Vandal Savage. And that's how the comic ends. So, this is kind of stupid. There's some really cool ideas here, to be sure. But I don't think the work has been put in to build this solid foundation for this story, let alone the interesting back and forth dynamic that should be here. I can see Duke Thomas, on some level, agreeing with Catwoman. I can see Jason, as much as I hate it, to see him agreeing with Catwoman. But I can't see Barbara Gordon, raised by the GC, raised by Commissioner Gordon, as a very ethical person, to say, hey, it's alright to steal from certain people. Because the argument is made for corrupt people. We can make an argument that's alright to steal from corrupt businessmen who, have made deals with criminals like the Joker, or, bribed people, steal their money, that dirty money, one could say. And then have people like Nightwing and Tim, this is ridiculous, we shouldn't do this, alright, crime is crime. And one could say we shouldn't have black and white morality for this, but let's point this out. What happens if Bruce Wayne becomes rich? Is it alright to steal from Bruce Wayne? Is it alright to steal from Barbara Gordon? Is also, last I heard, relatively well off. Can we steal from her? Nightwing is also rich. Can we steal from Nightwing? Let's point out, none of them have been robbed. And they will be okay with it. They have to be okay with it. Selina will by default pick who does and doesn't get robbed at the end of the day. Alright? And that's the problem, which means that all crime is not always tolerated over murder. And I get it. I think the problem is no one's really made a solid case in favor of Selina. It's just like, well, it's alright because people can afford to be robbed. Right? People who can afford to be robbed by default should be robbed. Okay? Taking away henchmen, like teaching them bad skills instead of teaching them better skills. Again, what was really good at this was the Wayne Foundation that Selina destroyed. Lucius Fox is still holding that money and doing nothing with it, not giving it back to Bruce Wayne. I don't understand any of this from a story standpoint. Am I supposed to feel that Batman is in the wrong here? This story seems to be, and Zdarsky's entire story, if we're going to say something really nice about it, is the idea that Batman's starting to feel the age, feel the time. He's been going through mission after big mission after big mission after big mission. Honestly, it seems like Zdarsky's pointing out that ever since DC Rebirth started, Batman's been pushing his body harder than I think he's ever pushed it before. There's not much of a gap in between horrible things that happen to him. So in Tom King's run, in addition to the whole Gotham Girl story, he had to fight Bane. He had to fight Bane like twice. He had to fight his dad. Then, well, not his dad. That was the whole point of it. He had to deal with the emotional stress of being left at the altar. Then the fact that he was really going too far and literally almost killed Mr. Freeze. The point where Freeze was begging for mercy. They even said he was going to kill me. Bruce then had to get onto a jury to convince everyone that, yeah, Batman was wrong, which was still like the best Tom King Batman story. Loved it. Then, after all that, he had to deal with Joker War and the death of Alfred. Still dealing with the death of Alfred. Then Fear State came on, which also led to the Future State debacle. Alright? And then, as soon as he's getting into somewhat control, this happened. Failsafe happens. Then with Failsafe, actually, no, let's remember Joker War, he also still lost his money. And in Fear State, he had to deal with Scarecrow, and Super Fear Toxin, and all of that. Alright, now he comes to the whole Failsafe thing, the whole Other Earth thing, Night Terrors. Coming to this, he's been non-stop. It can almost be viewed that Zdarsky's Batman himself is sort of a realistic take on, like, he is tired, he's feeling his age, he's lost a hand. He has a robotic hand. Courtesy of the Dark Knight Returns Batman, so might be a gun in there at some point. But again, there's no real nuance of discussion here. If you want to make the story that it's all right to steal from certain people, you have to make that case. The only person we've heard that it's all right to do it was the guy that just got killed, because surprise, surprise, people value their property over the life of the person trying to steal their property. That's it. So I don't get where the story's going. It's weird to me that Tim is like, well, we gotta see the data. I'm like, Tim, come on. Also, when did Nightwing cop out on this? When did the entire Bat family just go, you know what? Not all crime is crime. Truth be told, as we said before, there's a difference between someone trying to steal and enrich themselves and someone trying to provide that for their family. The problem is, though, being complicit in it doesn't fix it. Selina's plan is, if we give everybody a bunch of money, they won't revert back to stealing. The problem is, everyone in jail is not someone like, well, the system just got me. Some of them are just terrible people. Alright? So, when Selina broke those people out of prison, did she check their files too? You know, like the guy who's once someone being Victor Zsasz or Firefly, is she giving them the means? So I don't get any of it. It's stupid. It's borderline insulting. Well, yeah, actually, it's not really borderline. It is. I'm going to be optimistic and hope that Chip Zdarsky won't let me down with this. All right. Teenie Howard. I have no opinion of Teenie Howard. All right. I've heard enough about Teenie Howard to know I probably shouldn't like Teenie Howard. But you know what? I'm going to read the Catwoman tie-in for this. Well, not the Catwoman tie-in. I'm going to read the next part of this, which is going to be Catwoman, which will be the first time we've ever reviewed a Catwoman book. So there'll be that. So anyway, I've complained enough about this. What do you guys think about the story? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I think the idea almost has merit, but they dropped the ball too much on it. Again, anything to sort of help reinforce their ideas, I think would be better. Like Duke Thomas having a moment, like, talking about what he's seeing in Gotham City, and this would be a better alternative. And even more pointing out that, hey, without the Wayne Foundation, but then again, we're talking about that. Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get this. Miles just made Selina Mafia boss again. Anyway, with that in mind, brings to a close. If you are new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.